It's Monday. It's time to torture Doc with some of the worst comic books ever written. And of course, they're being written this week because it's worst of the week. This week, I am going to destroy him with Cosmic Ghost Rider. I believe it's issue number 6. Whatever. It's the finale of the Stephanie Phillips Ghost Rider comic book that no one asked for. How you doing, Doc?
I every once in a while, I think about getting on an airplane, flying to the Philippines, getting off, finding your house, ringing your doorbell, kicking you in the balls, and then going home.
Yeah, this is one of those weeks. And it's like the full first rule of comic books should be now, you do not hire a generic Stephanie. The second rule of comic books, you do not hire a generic Stephanie. And then the third rule of comic books should be, do not do pointless mantle swaps with characters that have no long-term value anyway. And we kind of get all of that right here. Stephanie Phillips on Marvel Comics after just blowing things up with Harley Quinn over on DC Comics and taking the sales all the way down to it was in the 150 range there for quite some time with Stephanie Phillips. I don't even understand why she was on Cosmic Ghost Rider. This is a unique character created by Donny Cates to go along with the Thanos stuff. I don't know why anybody in the history of the world other than Donny Cates would write this character. There's no real long-term value in the character. And maybe you had the next Donny Cates and you wanted to show off that he had some chops. You put him on this really weird maniacal cosmic powered character that is in a time that has never really been explored. But Stephanie Phillips is here because why? What's this character's value, Doc?
Well, there's no value to the character. Cosmic Ghost Rider is a character that had a little bit of novelty during Donny Cates' Thanos thing, and then promptly got forgotten. And every once in a while, apparently once a year, they decide to give us a 5-issue miniseries to remind us that he's here, and we all still forget and don't care.
I think she's here just because Marvel wants to say that they hired her. They obviously didn't want to put her on a book that was important, but they wanted to make a point to all the chuds out there that we're willing to hire Stephanie Phillips. Let's get into this story here, and it's not worth the paper that it's printed on, but we will talk about it a little bit, and we get a really unique concept in this comic book, Doc. We have Frank Castle, who's immortal now, and he's a cosmic being, and he's a herald of Thanos or whatever, flies through a black hole on his motorcycle that flies through space. He gets broken into pieces, and there are different versions of Cosmic Ghost Rider, and they have different emotional reactions to this that are all part of Frank Castle's original personality, and they're all designated by colors. It's really just one of the most unique concepts I've ever seen, not only in comic books, but just all of entertainment, Doc.
It's weird. I seem to remember a bunch of lanterns that were all different colors and all different rainbows, and they all seem to represent different emotions. I
also remember Superman being broken in half and having distinct personalities residing in the blue and the red Superman.
Look, I didn't read the first 4 issues of this, so I'm kind of coming in. I mean, nobody did. Yes, exactly. I'm pretty sure you forcing me to read this just doubled the actual readership of this comic book. There's some guy that looks like Emo Exodus that's a bounty hunter that apparently captured one of them, but didn't realize that he only captured.
You're talking about Monarch Star Destroyer?
Yeah, or something like that. I don't understand how anybody thought that this character was going to be interesting or intimidating in the first place. And they didn't really do a very good job of telling us anything interesting about this character.
There's a good creator behind it. I mean, this character's been around since 1976, but there's a reason no one else has ever used him. We have, there's this girl, her name is Axel, and she's a body positive mental illness haircut character that's obviously racially diverse. She is on the ship because she ended up helping out the real Cosmic Ghost Rider that was split into pieces. They're going to fly in and make an explosion to recreate a black hole and put all the pieces together. And this is supposed to create tension, right? That's the big point of the scene is she's been handcuffed by Monarch inside the ship, and it's going to blow up. You're supposed to feel something when this moment happens, Doc, because she's going to die as he attempts to get everything together, and you're just kind of laughing to yourself. And you're like, you forgot to get audience buy-in in the character. You just assumed that it was going to happen, but you never wrote a good character to begin with this Axel character.
Well, this character is the most absolutely 2020s character. Black, fat, mental illness, haircut, obviously definitely going to be a lesbian. Every single comic has that character. We all know exactly how that this is going to play out before there's anything that happens. It hits all the diversity bingo checkboxes, so they're absolutely going to make that character central. And she's going to end up somehow as the new Cosmic Ghost Rider.
I haven't got to that part, man. Why are you jumping so far ahead in the review?
Because, honestly, I can jump ahead because the minute that character showed up on the page, they already spoiled the ending of the story because it is absolutely paint by fucking numbers at this point. The minute that character shows up on the page, we know everything that's going to happen, and they are going to be the new heroine of the book from the minute they show up.
And then, of course, because no one's bought into that character and nobody really cares about Cosmic Ghost Rider, you got to have Gladiator in the book. Is Valkyrie in here? Why the fuck is Valkyrie in this book?
I don't know why Valkyrie's in there. I mean, look, they have Gladiator show up just to stand there. He literally does nothing at all at any point. He shows up on the page.
Put him on the cover.
Yeah, so that you can have him stand there and kind of sternly look at emo Exodus. At no point did they make anything in this comic book that anyone would give a shit about. Even the Frank Castle that's by himself that doesn't have the Cosmic Ghost Rider or one of the Rainbow Ghost Riders attached to him on that little moon, I couldn't give a shit about him.
You end up getting to the moment that you knew had to happen, likely when Axel was introduced in the first place with her dad. Obviously, her dad died. They fly in, obviously the ship does blow up, and Frank Castle, the Cosmic Ghost Rider, gets reformed and he has his powers back. But wouldn't you know it, old Axel got the powers too. And Frank just knows that she would be a better Cosmic Ghost Rider, gives her his motorcycle, and we're teased at the bottom that this might not be the end of this character in this series. Although I have a sneaking suspicion that Marvel Comics will not be re-investigating the character of Axel as Cosmic Ghost Rider, as the sales on this were probably negligible at best.
I'd like to believe that Marvel is still an actual corporation whose goal is to sell product that make money, but they've actually convinced themselves, hey, making the fat black lesbian with the green hair the central character of absolutely every single comic book, eventually it'll absolutely work. So if we just keep doing it over and over and over again, someone will eventually buy it.
Here's the problem, Doc. Cosmic Ghost Rider isn't an important character. It's just like a weird novelty character that's out there that there really are no rules on. Why would you even swap the character out? There's nothing gained here. There's not even potential gained here.
Because so they get one more shot at the plate here, and 2 months in a row, they get to shit all over a guy named Frank Castle.
There's a weird thing about this comic book that it's probably even worse than the story itself, which is awful, generic, boring, and very predictable. It's the humor, which doesn't always make sense because sometimes you have the humor and then the very next scene, it'll be the most serious book in the world. Well, he did have Gladiator. He's there with Monarch, Star Blaster, Galaxy Destroyer, whatever the hell his name is. And they're looking for this Cosmic Ghost Rider because they caught one of the entities. They actually didn't realize there were like 8 of them. And they're like, I've got him, in the cell. And he's like, well, I want to see him. And then the Cosmic Ghost Rider's not there. And he's like, you are a moron. It's Monarch Starstalker. I'm seeing it right now. Cosmic Ghost Rider walks out of the bathroom and he says, do not go in there for a bit. In fact, I'd really have someone take a look at the plumbing on this thing because he took an enormous shit and apparently it smells like poop. And then the next scene is 2 against 1. You should have brought some backup like he's going to murder him. It's the humor. It's the cutesy-wootsy bullshit humor that basically dooms every generic Stephanie. They always think they're funny and they can't write a goddamn joke.
Every single one of them does the same shit. They undermine and completely laugh at the circumstances and then want us to take it seriously. The fucking Reiner can't even take it seriously. They want us to buy into the stakes when they can't even keep the stakes straight from page to page. Every single one of them is trying to be some sort of weird combination of Amy Schumer and Joss Whedon, and it always fucking sucks. None of them are funny. So what do? It's fucking cat lady auntie humor. Is there going to be an Applebee's joke in there at some point too? And the minute that these writers get even hired onto these books, we all know how it all ends. It's boring. There is no stakes. The jokes fly like a fucking Zeppelin on fire. When it's all done, they go, why didn't you like my comic? I put my heart and soul into it. Because you're tropey and bland. That's it.
The unspoken fourth rule of comic book stock is never go full Schumer. It's never going to work for the humor in the comic book.
No, never go full Schumer. The bitch ain't funny.
Absolutely not. She's never actually been successful at anything in her life other than, I guess, making some headlines here and there and then bailing on the Barbie movie. I'm probably not going to recommend this one. It was another completely pointless mantle swap with cutesy-wootsy humor, a really bad plot that was completely generic. That's the real problem with this, Doc. When you have a character like Cosmic Ghost Rider, he's literally in this other corner of the Marvel Universe. There are no strings on this character. There's nothing that you can't do with him that will affect everything else. So you're basically able to do the most creative, wacky thing, most insane thing you've ever done with a character in your life. And you basically just write the story that everyone else has been telling for the last 5 years.
You're right. They had all the options in the world for what to do with this character. And what did they do? He needs to get arrested for stuff. That's it. That was.
Well, he needs to be replaced by a female character after he does a very generic storyline that doesn't accentuate the character, his journey, and has actually already been done in comic books, in movies, in animation, and everything before. So whatever, man. Another rule of comic books is you are not allowed to actually be critical of generic Stephanies. In fact, they will call for you being blacklisted and boycotted from comic books. In fact, friend of the channel, Gabe Hernandez, works for Weird Science DC, and he was highly critical of Stephanie Phillips, and she called for him to be removed as a reviewer of DC Comics. And guess what happened? They're actually an outlaw review company now. I wonder if this had anything to do with those guys being removed as official reviewers for DC Comics. There's also a link in the video description.